here with Homeschool and Life, and we are excited to bring you guys another video this week. And it's winter, it's cold. Well, we live in Arkansas, so the people in the north would probably make fun of us, but it is cold here to us. And so we're going to talk about ways that we, how'd you word it? Beat the winter blues, find motivation in the winter. Like, what'd you say? Because the way you worded it was good.
Yeah, I said, what do we do to stay motivated when the winter blues come, the days are long and dark, and even towards the end of it, like as March is coming and you're like, I'm just ready to take a break again in some ways. You're just ready to be, the school year's coming to an end and you're ready to be done. So finding motivation, that's the main thing. So we have a few points. I think we're gonna just share our thoughts and
hope it encourages you. So you go ahead with your first one.
Okay. So my first one is definitely making sure that I am personally spending time in the Word and filling up my cup every day, whether that be with, a Bible study, a devotional, prayer, just different things. I think as a homeschool mom, sometimes we can get so wrapped up in our kids and what's going on in their lives, or even other things outside, that we forget to just keep priorities in line in a lot of ways, and keeping our relationship with Christ first in a lot of ways, and how that definitely gives us motivation in life in all areas. And so that is
peace.
Yes.
And peace.
And peace
you need
and joy.
Peace and patience and joy for this endeavor.
Right. And so when those things are lacking, or you're finding yourself just in a season where it seems a little hard, that would be my first, if I was giving advice or counsel, that would be my first thing I would say, is making sure that you're having that quiet time every day and making the time for it. So
I agree, 100%. One is, this one's a little different. Instead of like working on yourself, it is to veer from your curriculum. Probably by this time of year, January, February, even getting into March, like you're in a routine, everybody knows what they're doing, and sometimes it just gets very monotonous. And so I have a hard time breaking the routine sometimes, just because I am a task-driven person, so it doesn't stress me out to do that, but sometimes it kind of puts a dark cloud over the whole atmosphere for the family. And so as I've continued to homeschool over the years, I've learned this time of year, it's okay to veer from our curriculum and just like dive a little bit deeper into one thing. Like usually it's with our history, because I like that, but history or science, where something sparks the kids' interest. And it's, you know how you go on like a Wikipedia rabbit trail, or is that just me?
No,
okay, that's kind of how it goes with our homeschool, just like veering from that and just kind of letting the natural flow from one thing to another, and it's okay. And that's usually keeps me going. Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing I had was working out, and she would totally say this too, because this is her life in a lot of ways too. When I'm slacking and taking care of my own physical health, whether that be working out or eating well or doing those things, I lose a lot of motivation in other areas. I find when I do the hard things, which sometimes is taking that time from to do the workout or plan to eat well or different things like that, then that just bleeds into other areas of my life and gives me a lot of motivation in those areas as well. So and having the energy, the energy it gives you can keep you motivated as well.
And I'm just gonna, because I really like exercise and agree with her, like it's just such a big deal. Like today when I was working out, it was kind of silly. In between squats, I'm like listening to her read aloud and telling somebody how to do the historical something we were doing. And it was hard, and I didn't like that. But just the point of making it a priority, if your day gets messed up and you don't get to do it at your regular time, it's just really, really important. And the meal planning and all that, just agreeing. So
it gives a lot of motivation. It really does. Did you have another one?
I did. Mine's back to just changing up the routine. As moms, like we have to be an atmosphere setter. We say that at our house all the time, be an atmosphere setter, not an atmosphere killer, to everybody. And so one way to set the atmosphere on these cold, dark days is to plan a movie afternoon. Unfortunately, my kids all have practices in the afternoon right now, but on Fridays, it kind of works out where everybody's home a little bit early-ish, by 2 o'clock sometimes. And when they get home, it always has to do something with our school, but it can still be an entertaining movie. Just planning a movie to go around with your history time period, but doing it during school hours. Yeah. Actually, sometimes even doing it in the morning, maybe on a Friday would be good. But my kids always like that. We don't do it a ton, but it's funny how doing it once or twice during a cold season, they remember it as like, remember that time we did this?
Yes.
So it really helps.
Yeah.
It's okay, Mom. You can do it.
Yeah. You're inside so much. It really is a whole different dynamic in winter. Yes. So it brings a lot of joy to your day to change it up.
Yes.
Yeah, every once in a while. I've mentioned this in some of our other videos, I'm sure, but sometimes when I'm not motivated, I will go to YouTube or to an Instagram page, and I'll just kind of peruse their page, or, a homeschool mom Instagram page, or a homeschool video, maybe day in the life or something along those lines. And I don't know, it just inspires me, and maybe it's one of their good days, which is always,
typically what we post.
Yes, and things like that. So on my bad days, sometimes I just need to see, hey, someone else is doing this and it's going well, and they're, finding a lot of joy, and I get creativity and motivation from those things, and it gives me ideas to change things up, or something like that's working well for them. Maybe we should implement that here as well. So when I'm lacking motivation, sometimes getting inspiration from someone else is a good thing.
Yeah, we don't have to have all the ideas and be the end all for everything. Get lots of ideas from each other. So I agree. I've gotten lots of great ideas from other people. That's nothing's new, right? We're all just stealing each other's ideas.
Yes.
This is very similar to the movie, but man, kids like food. They do. I don't care what age or gender they are. They like food. My kids like, when they come home from their basketball practice and I have a snack made. It's not very often, but I'm working. That's kind of one of my goals this year, is to be better on that. Maybe making stuff in advance and having it ready. But 2 times this year already in the cold, I have surprised them with fun snacks in the afternoon, and usually I'll read, or we'll do an art hub project or something. It's varying from our curriculum, but I'm telling you, food and a good drink that's special out of the norm is a game changer for attitudes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, does that answer the question? Motivate? I don't know, it just keeps the atmosphere good, which motivates me when everybody's happy.
Yeah, having fun with your kids and things. Yeah, it definitely, when you're kind of bogged down some days, doing things like that, lifts your spirits in a lot of ways. So I guess that kind of goes into my last thing I was going to share is if something in your homeschool is really bogging you down, or you're just not enjoying it. Now, I don't enjoy everything I do and teach every day. Mostly. I pick my curriculum based off what I enjoy teaching in a lot of ways. But sometimes you're just doing something and you're just plodding through it, and it's just really bringing you down, and sucking the joy out of your days. It's okay to let that go. And so I think a motivation for me is let it go, whether it be a curriculum, maybe it's a read aloud. Some of us are like, we have to finish this book because we started.
Stopped many a read aloud when everybody is tortured.
Yeah. It brings, sometimes it's really just dragging everybody down. The whole atmosphere, is just not so good. So I will say that is another thing. The curriculum, the read aloud, one of the other things, maybe your schedule. And sometimes I like to change our schedule up just to give us something different too in our day, to give us some motivation to keep going. I actually asked my kids at the beginning of this semester when we were starting back, which was 2 days ago, whatever. But anyway, it was, what do you like about our schedule, or what do you dislike? And one of the main things they said was, we prefer to get our math done before we do history and science. And all of them agreed. One of them brought it up, all of them agreed. So for right now, we are switching things around. We're doing our morning basket or our history or science. We alternate those in the afternoon. They get everything done. We eat our lunch, and then we all sit down and get cozy. Some days we sit at the table, but some days we sit in the living room, get cozy. Sometimes I'll have my coffee then. They'll make a treat drink or something like that. Not all the time, but just switching that around just kind of changes up the day a little bit, and just changing your schedule can definitely be a motivator when things are just kind of like blah, you know.
Yeah, that's good. I think we should do a video on all the things we ask our kids like going back to school, because like you asked about the schedule. I always ask like you know, what do you like, what do you dislike, what can I do better? But that's it. We should do that video because their responses are always interesting.
Yeah.
Both, I guess 3 out of all of our kids are doing like harder math where they're, you know, starting to count for credits, and it takes forever.
Yes.
And so like she's saying, her kids want to get done with their math first. So do mine, but we can't do our book basket in the afternoon because of our kids' sports schedules. I have like one going at 10, one going at 12, one getting back at 2. Yeah. And so we're struggling on our schedule on trying to work that out. I think my daughter started her math at 7:30 because I wanted to get done so we could do our history and science before one leaves at 10:30 to go to practice. So we're still working through that, but I like that schedule. I think that'd be good for the winter.
Yeah, different homes, different seasons. It's all different. And for us right now too, like our evenings are mostly, or at least we have a few evenings during the week that don't have a lot going on. So we've even pushed some of our subjects. Like I had told myself, like, it's okay if we even do our read aloud in the evening, or like we did logic in the evening one night because it just didn't fit that day in that time period. And we're inside and it's dark at night, so sometimes your evenings are long. You just need something else to do. So just changing that up.
Well, I guess going with that, like we are changing and figuring our schedule out too, and it's the same thing. The kids like having some input on it. So learning, new season.
All right, I think that was most of my points.
Oh, no. Yeah, I have one more. It's kind of random, but which kind of goes against like being home and cozy. So we have a fireplace in our house, and I love sitting in front of the fire. I am super cold natured, so like my husband likes building a fire, so like it's like such a treat in the winter. So I like to be at home inside in the winter. And but my last tip to beat the winter blues are to go somewhere. Just to get out of your house. Now we're on the go a lot, but being on the go is not the same as like going somewhere to do something. I was telling her before we started this video, it was cold, it was freezing, it was windy, you know, the winter blues, and I took one of my kids to a flea market, and his whole attitude changed for the rest of the afternoon. And it just got me to thinking of before, when I didn't have 4 and the crazy sports schedules, like I did that stuff a lot more. Like I would take them to, you know, a thrift store and let them pick something out, or just one of the questions one of my kids wanted is more field trips. So even though it's cold and you want to stay at home, just planning an outing for an afternoon keep spirits up at my house. Yeah. So
I tend to hibernate in the winter.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. You're just like, I just want to be home. It's cold. I don't want to go anywhere. So yeah, making yourself go out. We've done that before too, the thrift store thing, or even a coffee shop day where we take school to the coffee shop.
I will say I did that one time and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But
we've had good and bad experiences.
I'll tell you what happened. I took them because I was trying to be the fun homeschool mom, and I took them, and all they did, they were like, what's the show Up, where they're always like squirrel, squirrel, like they kept looking around, and they were probably a little too young for that. Yeah. But you could still do that. Coffee shop, donut shop, just going.
Yeah, that might be an older kids thing if you're actually trying to accomplish school. Yeah, we've done it a few times, but it was actually with the younger ones, but it was actually in the warmer weather, and they had like an outdoor area, so it worked out pretty good.
Fidget a little bit more.
There was a little bit more, but I've taken the older ones and done inside, and that worked out a little bit better because they want a coffee and, you know, or a warm drink or something. So
maybe I should do that next week. Yeah, that sounds fun. I see. We've motivated ourselves by telling you what we do.
So I hope you were encouraged here today. I hope that this was inspiring to you, and maybe if you have the winter blues right now, we've gave you some tips or some motivation to keep you going on this homeschool journey, and that's what we're here for. We hope that this channel is encouraging to you, and we would ask that you like this video and subscribe to our channel if you are inspired here, and we ask that you would just maybe look us up on Instagram and see some of our day-to-day things that we're sharing over there. We're homeschooling life there too. So anyway, we will see you here again soon. Bye guys.